The New Gods, issue 2, Ram V writing with Evan Cagle and Jesse Lonergan on the art. So, yeah, different artist on this issue.
Well, no, just the first four pages. Just like it was 4S, right, on the first issue. Because I read the first issue before I read this one because I was behind.
Okay. You weren't here for issue 1.
No.
So how did you feel about that before we...
I really love how Ram V is taking to mythology. And I feel like we're bearing witness to a new version, not a new version, but he's redefining the mythology of the New Gods through the death of Darkseid. And it is so easy to follow along. I might have dove in deep, but I had to pull up the New Gods to figure out who's who. And you never feel lost when Ram V's doing it. When he mentions these people, it feels like, there's an understanding to who that character is. And that continues into the second issue.
Yeah, because we start off with K-Rock, who's on like a giant technodrome in space. I guess it's kind of a war world in a lot of ways, to compare it to something. But the grey sort of like tech looking aspect of it made me think of the technodrome. Yep. But yeah, the issue sort of starts with it sort of setting up who this is, and whatnot, and then ends with like this coming for New Genesis, right? At the end?
Yeah, for New Genesis and Apocalypse, for the fourth world in general.
Yeah. Because this started, I'm like, okay, this is interesting, but like, let's get to the Mr. Miracle part. I want to talk about, I want to see like him going after to save this new god that's been born.
Yeah.
Because that was the stuff that really got me excited in the first issue, and it basically starts that part of the story with Mr. Miracle writing a note for Barda to like say, hey, don't be mad at me, like I have to go save this, because if I didn't take up this task, I wouldn't be the person you fell in love with. I wouldn't be able to look my daughter in the eye, and leaves this note, and it's all this very touching thing for a few pages. Talks, we see a little bit glimpse of what Orion's doing as he's giving him his week head start, and he's already wasted 3 days seemingly before he's like taking the mission up. And then he goes to leave, and Bard is standing in full costume, holding the baby, and saying, "The effing nerve of you, Scot-Free. Tell me you weren't going off to do a mission without me that your stupid brother gave you." And he's like, "You're not mad, right?" And she's like, "You're on diaper duty forever." And throws a diaper at his face, which I thought was
I love
funny.
So when she shows up, right, she looks larger than life, and there's the big Barda behind her, right? And then she's looking down at him while holding the baby. And then the next panel is she has picked him up essentially from his collar.
Yes.
I love Barda so much.
Yeah.
This 2024 was the year of Barda, and it's continuing to 2025. So I'm here for it.
I mean, I don't know if I'd call 2024 the year of, surely the year of Tom King's Mr. Miracle was the year of Barda.
Well, yeah, but like through Birds of Prey and everything, I have this newfound, love of this character, and I'm glad that Ram V
but I think it started there. I feel like Barda has been getting flowers since
but
that book.
But what'd she do in between Mr. Miracle and Birds?
I mean, not a ton, but
she wasn't around.
But I think that was the excitement, though, was built up from that. And the fact that, in this book they have a kid, like, it feels like, no, it's kind of following on from that. And
now remind me, from the Tom King stuff, that was a boy, though, right? They had a son? Because I feel like his name was Jacob after Jack Kirby.
That sounds right, yeah.
Okay, I mean, not that that's a big deal, because multiverse, whatever.
I mean, I think it's just like the idea that they have a kid was like, it's in the same way that like Killing Joke wasn't in canon, it was like a separate universe thing, but they kept like a big detail from it because they wanted to do that with Barbara. I feel like, obviously the King book was a Black Label book and it was separate, but I think this idea that Barda and Scot-Free are living together and have had a baby is something that's just in continuity now because they like that.
Yeah, and as much as I love the idea that the kid was an homage to Jack Kirby because this was his, his achievement over at DC, the fact that her name's Olivia Free and it's short for Live Free,
yes,
I just love it. Wordplay, it's great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And we see that the new god, the baby, is with the parents who have adopted it in India. And they're hiding out, and they're talking about how they're scared because they saw what the baby did to like the soldiers that were after them in the prior issue. And we get a little bit of context that they found the baby at the temple that they were looking at. I don't know if they were maybe archaeologists or something, but
or they were just visiting the temple in the area,
maybe, yeah,
right?
possibly.
The Krishna Raja, and that they're just like, oh, it's like a cliche. People leave babies at temples all the time, but there was something different, right? They were.
I mean, I've never heard of that cliche, but I'm assuming it's true.
Yeah. I'm just talking in the terms of the story that they were. It was 3 years after they had lost their own kid, and that this baby is presented to them, and they don't even believe in such a god, yet they took this baby, and now just fate is intervening here. So just really good stuff. Just the way that the baby's looking up on that panel where the guy picks him up. It's just some great art here. Yeah.
And we get I love the sort of in the art the sort of the busyness of the city, because at the start of this section where we see him arriving home, and then here after this where we see like the agent who's calling it in. Turns out Maxwell Lord is looking for the baby, and is the one who's getting reported in on. From this agent saying, hey, yeah, we've tracked like a money transfer to here. They're trying to like stay off grid, but we think we can find them. And Maxwell Lord's talking to this character who I'm not as familiar with.
Me neither.
Yeah, Seraphan, I think they said he's
Seraphan. Yeah,
his name was. But it sounds like when Maxwell Lord was in hospital, like some being came and touched him in the head and left an Omega symbol, to which the Seraphim immediately goes, Metron. And I'm like, I mean, I guess, yeah, sure. That's the plausible guess it is any at this point. Yeah. But he's determined to find this new god. And I don't think it's good for the baby if Maxwell Lord finds him, so... No,
and him with a flippin' Charles Manson-esque Omega symbol on his head, Max Lord's never been creepier. And he's done some creepy things.
Yeah, where's Wonder Woman and her neck snapping skills when you need her? Yeah.
All right, so Seraphin was the youngest member of the Forever People, and the Forever People were these... Essentially, they're kind of like Power Rangers of the Fourth World. They could... Or the Planeteers with Captain Planet. They'd put their powers together and create Infinity Man. So this is a gritty version of him.
I suspect I'm going to learn about a lot of Fourth World characters on the course of this book, because I don't know a lot of them. So
me neither, and hence why I had to have the page open to look at who these guys are, right? Because we know the Bardas, the Desads, the Granny Goodness, and Highfather, Light Ray, right?
Yeah.
Some of these other ones, like the name seems like Seraphin sounds like a Forever People name. Would not have known he was in the Forever People until I clicked.
I prefer his alternate self, Sans Seraphin. I'll see myself out. Yeah, so we see that what is it? Mantis has decided that he's the ruler of Apocalypse.
Much like Starscream in the Transformers movie.
Yeah,
from the 80s.
Yeah, so the Sad's talking to Metron, and they're lamenting that the Darkseid is dead, and obviously we know that he's not really dead, but obviously they all think
he is.
Yeah. So he's talking about prophecy and like there's been an eclipse in the sky being covered up, but it's actually the big sort of War World style technodrome that's covering up the sun in the sky, and it's our man from the start of the book. What's his name again?
Shoot.
See, this is the thing.
Catch me looking.
Too many character names I'm not used to. But it's him at the end who's invading at the end of the book. Yeah, so
what they're propping up, right, is that like New Genesis and Apocalypse had this tenuous pull, right? And that they were in balance. That's the whole point of Mr. Miracle and Orion, right? They were swapped to create a peace because Orion's actually Darkseid's son, and Mr. Miracle is actually Highfather's son. Yet now, without Darkseid, it's almost like Highfather's in this weird mental state. He almost has no purpose now, because it's almost like without Darkseid to oppose him, he has no standing. And now something worse than Darkseid's come, right? Because Darkseid is all about anti-life, right? And yeah, that's not the same as death. But this new guy coming in, this what did we call him again? Carrick.
Yeah.
He seems to be a representative of Where's it at? I'm gonna pull it here. The theoretical antithesis of uncreation, the absence of ideas, not in opposition to life, but opposition to existence. So he's looking at these. They're calling them source beings, right?
Yeah,
Because they get their life from the source. He's gonna wipe them all out.
Yeah, he's got an interesting
Regardless.
design because he's got like this like sort of scaly skin in the side of his face or whatever, but he's got what I would describe as like a like Deadshot's like visor that he has on for his aim. He's got like a sort of like rock version of that. Is how I'd describe it. It's like a rock visor that he's got on his face. Interesting.
So this whole, and half of his body's all like diseased with this stuff, and he's a scavenger. He goes by many different names, so they really go out of their way to make him seem like this guy's a big bad. This is a big deal. Him showing up to Apocalypse, which is in complete disarray with Darkseid's death, and it's not good for anybody.
Yeah, and Highfather seems to be having nightmares of this guy coming. Like he's scared of it. So possibly they're going to Apocalypse first, because with no Darkseid at all, Apocalypse is maybe the easier one to take. And then once they've got Apocalypse rolled up in their forces, then they can take New Genesis on. Yeah. So yeah, I think I said they came to New Genesis first at the start. I misspoke. No. But it's intriguing. If anything, like I wasn't expecting there to be so much to still do away from like the hunting the baby plot. But yeah, it ended up splitting into like 4 kind of equalish part, or even 5 equalish parts if you count the Max Lord part as separate to the India stuff. But no, all of it's intriguing. It feels like there's a big saga planned here. Obviously we expected Ram V to be delivering the goods, but it's cooking so far. Like it's building up some stuff. So
yeah, I've always loved the concept of the fourth world. As Kirby had meant that Earth was meant to be representative of the fifth world, and that's always posed a problem for the new gods. That's why they were so interference, because if the fourth world dies, the fifth world rises. And I kind of like that Ram V's playing with that, where now there's this force that's not Darkseid that's coming out to wipe them out indiscriminately, and maybe not create the fifth world. And we have Barda and Mr. Miracle so involved with the superheroes, right? What does this force mean for them? Now we have Maxwell Lord getting, blessed by Metron.
Oh, I mean, forget them specifically. What does it mean for Earth? Like if this Krator,
Carrick,
there you go. I was very close to Kratos there, which is definitely very wrong. Yes. If he does take over both New Genesis and Apocalypse, then what does that mean for Earth and the rest of the universe?
Right. So
probably not good things. I don't imagine.
Not at all. So, but I love the way that Ram V tackles mythology, and it's also a lot of the first issues bleeding into the second. So I don't want to talk too much about the first issue, but the way that opened up with Forness's art, with that other being creeping up on the source wall, it looks like Metron's getting downloaded information from beyond it, right? There's just so much there, and the iconography of knowledge being passed on or forbidden knowledge, and so what's his play here? Why is he involving Max Lord? What does he know that he's not sharing? Because Metron always seems to be at the center of anything. He's kind of the person that goes in between. So I know you're not big on Game of Thrones, but Metron's kind of like Littlefinger, or Chaos is a ladder, but ultimately what's he trying to climb up? So and Ram V, I feel like, understands that and has him in the middle of all of this. So man, every time I think he's outdone himself, Ram V shows up and just does something else incredible.
Yeah, and I think the art's pretty solid throughout as well. That page where Barda's waiting for the door with the big lettering behind her, I think, is really impactful. The real busy and scratchiness of the city, all those little details that just make it feel super messy in a good way. I mean, it feels like there's a lot going on. I think works really well. I think it helps that we're doing very different types of scenario. You've got evil people in a boardroom speaking next to scenes in a bustling city, next to scenes on a hell planet, with over the top designed people in mass and whatnot. very, very different things that all feels very coherent and comes together by the end. So, yeah. Yeah. All right. What are you rating New Gods issue 2?
Look, I hate to be a self-parody, but I'm gonna give probably rate this. I'm gonna give it a 9.
I don't think that's overrated at all, because I'm gonna give it a 9.
Okay. There we go. I just, anytime there's a Ram V thing that gets me all hyped up, I tend to over give up. You know, I could have given this a 9.5, but I dialed it back just as coach.
Yeah, you worry too much.